working with each of the different folders in the system. Bring it out, spread it out, retract it, put it back, and when you're done, let go.
But don't you think spreading it out is like dangerous? Because I find that when I work with people, and maybe this is because I'm a little bit too type A, like even when I cook, I cannot cook without cleaning up one thing before I cook the next thing.
Because you have a system, right? That system ensures that it will be brought to zero.
Right.
By the end of it.
Right. But
part of the problem is most people don't have a system.
Okay.
You are very naturally organized. And spreading out is, the key is always in, remember that backhand I said is missing for most people in the process? And same thing goes with cooking. You have a big party, nobody wants to clean up that night. Right. So you let it sit.
Never.
The next morning, do you ever want to clean that up? I mean, of course you don't.
I've never
but
let
you
it
never
sit.
would, because you're harnessing the energy of momentum.
Okay, so that's, so when you're telling
zero.
people like to, you know, when you're working with coaches, then can you say, you know, when you said spread it all out on the desk, because then I'd start getting tachycardic if I saw somebody spreading everything all out.
Okay, so remember the pre, the during, and the post?
Yes.
Pre-coaching calls, when you pull the file, you start to look at things, you lay it out. During it, you're accessing your documents, you've got it all spread out. Post, you're bringing it back to zero. That's part of the post activity, is closing the loop, so that you don't really have to think about that client or that thing again until the next appointment, which allows you to be free for spontaneity. And spontaneity in sales is awesome. Imagine if you see a great article that you know would really help a client, but in the back of your mind you're like, I can't just send them this article spontaneously because I owe them this other thing that I said I was going to do and I don't have time to do it now. But if you finish the appointment with a bow on it, tie it up after the appointment, you're free and clear and like, yeah, look at this article, and you're free and you're engaged, and that is the energy we all want to be operating from. And I know I'm out of time. Any questions?
I was just going to say, I did this just the other day with one of my new coaches. We meet at Vaughn's, and I got down there about 5 minutes before, and I went through, she's a new health coach, and I went through everything that I wanted to speak, and I quickly wrote it out in an outline form. If you looked at it, you'd think I can't write very well. But when she got there, we went through all those things, gave her an assignment to read the business blueprint and continue on with reading Dr. A's. And then she left, we hugged and all that. And then I immediately sat down on my computer and recapped the meeting and sent it off to her. And then I was done.
And don't you look like a rock star? I mean, I'm telling you what, when she gets that email and it has all the items and the follow-up, she's thinking, well, no wonder you are on fire and going places. Because
for me, it was like, I didn't want to deal with it later.
Exactly. Whatever the motivation is, it is one of those things that's a gift that keeps on giving, right?
Okay, I'm thinking of different ways. At work, I'm like that. I have the messy desk. No one bothers me when they see my desk. Then by the end of the day, it's clean. And everything's in the right place and stuff. But when I get home, my workbench used to be immaculate. I have a friend who say, hey, Mike, because if I'm underneath the car, I want to be able to say, hey, get this tool. It's on, you know, like you said. But lately I've noticed I don't want to go out and clean it because I don't want to make the decisions or choices.
As to where things go.
Right.
Yes. So hot, warm, cold applies for that. All the tools you use all the time, don't even bother putting them away in terms of drawers, unless you put them into drawer organizers like the cutlery thing and make it super accessible. Those would be the ones you'd want to have on pegboard, visible or within arm's reach of where you do the work. The big heavy saw that you use once every 3 years, yeah, that needs to be put away and probably in the far-reaching corners of your workspace so that it's not contaminating the energy. When you go, you use it. Once you're done using it, you put it away. So that, again, everything works. Your hot space is not contaminated with a bunch of stuff. And so the best thing all of you can do to put this into practice tonight, don't try to clean up the whole entire thing. Okay?
I did it yesterday.
All I want you to, okay, good, tick, done off the list. Just focus on the low-hanging fruit. Focus on what's most important. If you have to kind of put it to the side, get a clear space, and pluck out just those things that are most